My favorite lesson because it comes with a story I have never shared. Let me set the stage. My husband, after Hurricane Katrina, had built up another house in Louisiana, and we'd go there for a vacation. One day, we were coming home, and my husband was on a motorcycle, and he had taken the wrong turn, so he wasn't behind us. And I remember Anna and I feeling really anxious. We didn't know what we were anxious about. I backed my car in, yelled to the kids to help me unpack, and I went into my house. The alarm was not on, it was just beeping red. And I remember thinking, ooh, it's awful musty in here. As I was going down the hall of the house, right before I took the turn, I heard my daughter scream, "Mom, the couch is on fire." As I turned the corner, I saw the scarred, burnt wood that was on the closed door to downstairs. Now, I knew from watching the moving Backdraft, they don't open that door. And all of a sudden, I felt this heat on my legs. I ran out of the house, called 911, and said, "Kids, get out of the house. The house is on fire." Well, basically, it was started in the basement. And because my husband, it was really as big in drywall, it was a miracle that it didn't burn right down to the ground. That's just the first part of the story. We lived in a motel for about 4 or 5 weeks. And get this, I was in charge, because my husband was out of town working, I was in charge of doing inventory of the house. Every little item, take my kids to school, come back. But guess what I was still doing? That calling in me was not dying out. I was still working. I was still working on the business I was working then, the videos, but then I would stay over here, I would do inventory, and I'd stay over here and I'd do a video. The calling can survive the most burnt out things in your life, literally and figuratively. There was so much trauma. And, I got to backtrack this. One of the hardest things for me was realizing that the kids had trauma and I didn't know how to deal with their trauma. But years later, there's restoration with my kids. And I start thinking, God, He's been preparing me all along. So it ended by us being denied our fire claim and having moved back to Louisiana, away from friends and family. But the reason I share that story is, even in the most crazy thing, I didn't deny my calling. You could have fire going on in your life, but do you still have that urge? This is my calling. This is what God put me on earth to do. And you can survive. So think about your own life. What breaks your heart? What fires of life have you gone through? What gives you joy? What have you survived? What keeps showing up over and over again? They aren't random. They're clues. So I learned in that story, even amidst the devastation, that calling was driving me through the dust, through that burnt things in the house, the after effect of devastation in my life, real time. I'm doing this work with women, by the way, on a whiteboard recently. It's the Calling Activation Studies seminar. And what I'm discovering is women are starting to connect some dots. Their experiences, their gifts, their passions, their healing,